Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing the AC series circuit. In AC series circuit, we'll discuss about RL circuit, RC circuit and RLC circuit. We'll try to find out the voltage triangle, the impedance triangle and the power triangle and the relationship between the impedances in all the different AC series circuit. Okay. Now I'll discuss the series RL circuit. In series RL circuit, you have got resistance and inductance connected in series to a supply voltage of Vm sin omega t. Because it is a series circuit, so current will be the same, but the voltage across the resistance and inductor will be different. So the voltage across the resistance, voltage across resistance is VR and voltage across inductance is VL. Now we have to calculate the total current. So what will be given as VR? VR is given as I into R. I into R and VL is given by I into XL, as we have seen previously that the voltage across a pure resistance will be current into the resistance and voltage across the inductor will be current into the inductive reactance, and that inductive reactance is here J omega L, or over here we are just taking the magnitude. So omega L x, where XL is equal to omega L. Now applied voltage V is the phasor sum of the voltage across the resistance and the voltage across the inductance. That means V will be equal to under root of VR square plus VL square, that is equal to IR whole square plus IXL whole square, which will be given as I under root of R square plus XL square. And this is nothing but the impedance of the given circuit. So over here, the impedance of the given circuit Z is equal to under root of R square plus omega L whole square, and the angle between, or the angle of the impedance will be given by tan inverse omega L by R. That is, if I draw the voltage diagram, then if suppose this is the current, then the voltage across the resistance will be your V into R or VR, and the voltage across the inductance will lead the current by 90 degrees, because current in the inductor lags the voltage by 90 degrees. Or if we are taking the current as the reference, then the voltage across the inductor will lead the respective current. Now because it is a series circuit and current is the same, therefore the current is taken as the reference, and this VR is equal to I into R and this VL is equal to I into XL. Now when we found the resultant of the two, we get the voltage V. This is our voltage V. So this is the applied voltage V and this is your angle phi. Now because this V is nothing but I into the impedance, so if in this phasor you divide all the vectors by the current phasor, what will you get it? You will get it as, this will be R, this is your XL, and the resultant as V, this will be Z, and this is your angle phi. So over here, this is known as the impedance triangle. This is your impedance triangle, and one which we had drawn with the help of voltage is known as the voltage triangle. Because it's not a simple addition, it's the vector addition of the voltages VR and VL, and therefore we have drawn the phasor addition of VR and VL. So magnitude wise it becomes as I into Z, and that has been taken for the drawing of the phasors. So when you take the phasors, the voltage across the resistance will be in phase with the current. The voltage across the inductor will be leading the respective current by 90 degrees. So this total is 90 degree, and the resultant of VR and VL, that is the phasor sum of VR and VL, will give you the total voltage V. And this phi for the voltage triangle and the impedance triangle is the same, which is given by the tan inverse of the angle omega L by R, or you can also say this phi can be equal to tan inverse VL by VR. Now, similarly, you can calculate the power in the RL circuit. Again, I'll draw the triangles, that is taking the current as the reference. We have got VR, VL, and the phasor sum will give you the applied voltage V, and this is your phi. When we had divided throughout by I, we got the impedance triangle, because VR is equal to I into R. So this is R, this is XL is I into XL, so this becomes XL, and the resultant of R and XL gives us the impedance of the circuit Z, where Z is equal to under root of R square plus XL square, and phi is equal to tan inverse of XL by R. Now, if you multiply this voltage triangle by I, you multiply it now. So when you multiply it, you will get the powers. So as per the power triangle, you will get this as P, this is reactive power Q, and this is your total apparent power as S. This is your total apparent power S, and for this, because it's the same triangle, so the value of the phi remains the same in all these triangles. So using these triangles, if you know, suppose you know Z, you know phi, but you don't know R. So you can write as R as Z cos phi, and X is equal to Z sin phi. Similarly, for this power triangle, you can have the different relationships as P is given as I square R, that is the power consumed in the circuit. Now the power consumed in the circuit is only in the resistance. The inductance doesn't consume any power. So it is the active power is being consumed in the resistance, that is given by I square R. The reactive power which is present in the reactance of the circuit is given as I square XL, and the total power is given as I into V, that is the apparent power is I into V. The unit of P is watt. The unit of reactive power is VAR, and the unit of apparent power is volt amperes. Now, the same thing we are going to draw it in the form of the waveforms. If you draw the voltage waveform, the current waveform, and try to find out the instantaneous power. Then with respect to omega t, suppose this is your applied voltage Vm sin omega t, then V is equal to given as Vm sin omega t. Now the current was lagging the voltage by an angle phi, where we have calculated phi as tan inverse of omega L by R or omega tan inverse of XL by R. So I will be given as Im sin omega t minus phi. So over here, what is Im? Im is nothing but Vm by Z. So the current waveform, if you draw, because the current is lagging the voltage by a given angle, so the current will be drawn angle later by an phi. Now, if you calculate the power, the instantaneous power, the instantaneous power P will be V into I, that is Vm sin omega t into Im sin omega t minus phi. Now solve it out. Vm Im sin A into sin B. So when you solve this out, this becomes as Vm Im by 2. It will be in terms of cos omega t, that is sin A, sin B will be equal to cos A minus B plus cos A plus B. So that comes as cos phi plus cos 2 omega t minus phi. So this can be written as Vm by root 2, Im by root 2, that is Vi cos phi plus Vi cos 2 omega t minus phi. This means this is the active power being consumed in the given circuit, that is Vi cos phi, and this is the reactive power which is present in the circuit and oscillating at double the frequency. Now over here, as we have done before, the voltage is positive, the current is negative, so the power will be negative. Now till the voltage is positive and current is positive, the power will be positive. Again, when the voltage becomes negative and current is positive, the power will be negative. Again, when both the voltage and the current are negative, the power will be positive, and this is how it goes on. So when you calculate the average of this power, it becomes as the some average power will be consumed in the circuit and the instantaneous power will be oscillating at double the input frequency. So these are the things we have done in the series RL circuit. First we tried to have the phasor sum of the voltages, then we derived the impedance triangle, the voltage triangle, the power triangle, the relationship of all the three, and then the instantaneous power in the RL circuit. Now next we are going to discuss about the RC circuit, that is you will have the resistance and capacitance in series. For RC circuit, we'll take resistance and capacitance in series, applied voltages, Vm sin omega t, the current will be the same, and the voltages across the resistance is VR and across capacitor is VC. Now again, we can start off with the individual voltages. That is, VR is the voltage drop across the resistor. That will be given as I into R. The voltage across the capacitor is given as VC, which is equal to I into XC, where XC is equal to 1 by omega C or 1 by 2 pi FC. Therefore, the applied voltage V will be again the phasor sum of the voltage drop across the resistor plus the voltage drop across the capacitor, because the voltage across the resistor is in phase with the current, the series circuit, so the current is the same. The voltage across the resistor will be in phase with the current, while the voltage across the capacitor, the current leads the voltage. Therefore, the voltage will lag the current, and this is your VC. And by the graphically, when you solve it, you will get this resultant applied voltage V, and this is angle phi. Now over here, mathematically, when you do it, it will be VR is IR square plus VC is IXC whole square. This comes out to be I under root of R square plus XC square, that is I into Z. So Z is where Z is equal to under root of R square plus XC square. Now the angle between this phi can be given as phi is tan inverse of VC by VR. VC is nothing but IXC, that is tan inverse of IXC divided by IR. So it comes out to be tan inverse XC by R. So again, over here, this is the voltage triangle, and if you draw the impedance triangle, it will be R, XC. Find out the resultant of the R and XC. This is your impedance triangle, and this is your final Z, and this is your angle phi. So this impedance triangle is nothing but this voltage triangle divided by I gives you the impedance triangle. The relationship of phi is the same. Phi over here is the same angle. You can also draw the power triangle as we have done it for the inductive circuit. In the capacitive circuit, it will be the reactive power will be opposite. You can also draw the waveforms, because over here the current leads the voltage. So if you draw the, or you take the instantaneous equations, V is equal to Vm sin omega t, I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi, because it is a capacitive circuit and the resultant current was leading the voltage by an angle phi, because we had got this voltage triangle VR, VC, this is resultant voltage V, and this is your angle phi. So this current is leading the voltage by an angle phi. So I equation will be Im sin omega t plus phi, and P will be V into I, the instantaneous power, that is Vm Im sin omega t into sin omega t plus phi. Solve it out, you will get it as Vm Im by 2 cos phi plus cos 2 omega t plus phi, and this again can be divided into two parts, Vm by root 2, Im by root 2, that is the Vi RMS values. So we are having Vi cos phi plus Vi cos 2 omega t plus phi. So again there is a active power which is being consumed in the resistance of the series RC circuit, and the other reactive power is oscillating at double the frequency. Now if you draw the waveforms of the voltage and the current for the capacitive circuit, Suppose this is your voltage. The current will be leading the voltage. So the current waveform will be, this is your current and this is leading the voltage by an angle phi. Instantaneous power, again V into I. Now voltage is negative, current is positive, so this of it, the power will be negative till the voltage and current both are positive. The power will be positive, again negative, this positive, again negative. So this is your power waveform, and you can see that some average power will be there which is being consumed, which is given by VI cos phi. So this is about series RC circuit. The voltage triangle, the current triangle, the equivalent impedance of the given circuit, and the angle of the impedance. Now the last in the series circuit is series RLC circuit. If you have got R, L and C all connected in series, in that case, what will be the final resultant impedance? Over here we have taken the voltage across the resistance as VR, voltage across the inductance as VL, and voltage across the capacitor is VC. So your VR is equal to I into R, VL, I into XL, and VC, I into XC. But when you draw the resultant, the phasor diagram, you can see over here, we'll take the series circuit, current as the reference. The voltage drop across resistor will be in phase with the current. The voltage drop across the inductor will lead the current, but the voltage drop across capacitor will lag the current. So because these are in just phasor opposition, therefore whichever is greater by magnitude, if VL is greater than VC, this means the circuit will be inductive in nature. If VC is greater than VL, then the circuit will be capacitive in nature. So for example over here, we'll take that VC is greater than VL. If VC is greater than VL, then this will be VC minus VL, and the resultant voltage will be V, and we have to find out this phi. So now you can write as V is equal to under root of VR square plus VC minus VL whole square, and that substituted with current IR whole square plus I XC square minus I XL whole square, and take out the I as common. So the remaining will be R square plus XC minus XL whole square. Just a moment. I XC minus I XL whole square. Okay. So the resultant Z is over here under root of R square plus XC minus XL whole square. If you say that your VL is greater than VC, that means you have got the VL over here and your VC is less than VL. In this case, your VL is greater than VC, so this will be VL minus VC, and the resultant of VL minus VR will give you the applied voltage V, and this is your phi. So when your VL is greater than VC, in that case, Z will be equal to R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Because XL is greater, therefore, you will do it as XL minus XC whole square. Now, what about phi? Phi in this case will be tan inverse when XC is greater than XL, the reactance divided by the resistance. And in this case, because your XL is greater than XC, therefore it becomes as XL minus XC by R. Now, whichever is greater, now you can infer that the Z is square root of R square plus the resultant reactance whole square, and the angle phi will be tan inverse of the resultant reactance divided by the resistance. So depending on the circuits, you can calculate the values and you can find it out whether your circuit is reactive, the circuit is inductive, or it is capacitive. And if both are equal, that gives you a separate condition of resonance, which we'll discuss later. Now I'll take a few examples. First example I'll take for the RL circuit. Where the question is given as when a resistor and coil in series are connected to a 240 volt supply, a current of 5 amperes is flowing in the given circuit. Now when we say coil, this means that the coil will have its inductance as well as some small value of the resistance of the coil. So over here it has been given as there is a resistor and there is a coil having small r as the internal resistance and capital L as the inductance of the coil. The question is the current 5 amperes is flowing in the circuit, but this 5 amperes lags behind the voltage by an angle 60 degrees. So when it lags behind the voltage 16 degrees, you have to find out the resistor, resistance and the resistance and reactance of the coil. The given thing is that the voltage, applied voltage is 240 volts and the voltage across the coil is 220 volts. Okay, so what are things are given to us? The things given to us is the supply voltage is 240 volts, a resistor and a coil are connected in series. The voltage across the coil is 220 volts and the current in the circuit is 5 amperes but lagging behind by 60 degrees. So when you solve it, you can find out the impedance of the coil and the impedance of the given circuit, because V coil is equal to 220 volts. Therefore, Z coil will be 220 divided by the current VL by I, that comes to as 44 ohms. And the applied voltage to the complete circuit, V is 240 volts, and therefore the Z circuit is 240 divided by I, that comes to as 48 ohms. Phi is given as 60 degrees. Therefore, as per the impedance triangle, Over here, the total impedance resistance is R plus R. This is the coil inductance, and this is your Z, and this phi is given to us as 60 degrees. Therefore, your R plus R will be Z circuit cos phi, which is equal to 24 ohms. Z is 48, cos phi, cos 60 degrees, that means 0.5. So R plus R is 24 ohms. We can also find out the XL from this, that is because this is the inductance of the given coil, the reactance of the given coil, and that can be given as XL is equal to Z sin phi, that is 48 into sine 60 degree, and sine 60 degree is root 3 by 2. So this comes out to be 41.57 ohms. Therefore, small r can be given as Z coil minus XL square, because Z coil will be XL square plus small r whole square. It's only this coil. Therefore, small r, you can calculate it, and this comes out to be 14.42 ohms, and capital R, you can minus this from this 24 ohms, and this comes to as 9.58 ohms. So, in this problem, the voltage across the coil was given to us. Therefore, we have calculated the impedance of the coil, impedance of the circuit, then the total resistance of the circuit and the reactance of the circuit. The reactance is only there in the coil, so that reactance will remain the same, and therefore the resistance can be calculated for the coil, that is with the help of the Z coil, and you can find out small r and the capital R both. Now one example I'll take from the RC circuit. I'll take with the power. The given question for RC circuit is a voltage of 120 volts at 50 hertz is applied to a resistance R in series with a capacitor C. So the current circuit draws 2 amperes, and the power loss in the resistance is 100 watts. P is equal to 100 watts, and this V is equal to 120 volts, 50 hertz. So now calculate the resistance and the capacitance. When you have to calculate the circuit parameters, what we'll do is, we know the power consumed, and the power consumed is only in the resistance of the circuit. Therefore, you can say that P is equal to I square R. Therefore, R will be equal to P by I square, that is 100 divided by 2 square, and this comes out to be 25 ohms. We know the current in the circuit, we know the voltage, so we can calculate the impedance of the given circuit, that is V by I, that will be 120 divided by 2, that is 60 ohms. Therefore, the reactance, the impedance of the RC circuit is given by under root of R square plus XC square. Therefore, XC will be equal to under root of Z square minus R square. Substitute the value of Z and R, and you will get the XC as 54.54 ohms. Now we have to find out the capacitance. So XC is equal to 1 by omega C, or 1 by 2 pi FC. So C will be equal to 1 by 2 pi FXC. Substitute F is equal to 50 hertz. XC is equal to 54.4 ohms. and calculate the capacitor, which comes out to be 58.36 microfarads. Now you can solve as many problems as you want for the given RL RC circuit. Now the last example I'll take is for the RLC circuit. You have got series R, L and C. The given parameters are R is equal to 10 ohms, L is equal to 0.05 henries, C is equal to 300 microfarads, and the applied voltage V is equal to 100 volts. You have to find out the circuit behavior at frequency is equal to 25 hertz and 50 hertz. So first part will perform at when frequency is 25 hertz. To find out the behavior of the circuit at 25 hertz, the remaining parameters remain the same, only the frequency has changed, and we have to see the behavior of the given circuit. So R will be the same, that is 10 ohms. Your XL will be 2 pi FL. So XL at 25 hertz will be 7.85 ohms, and XC, that is 1 by omega C, 1 by 2 pi FC. So when you substitute F is 25 hertz, this comes out to be 21.23 ohms. Now over here if we see, the XC value is greater than XL. Therefore, your final impedance of the circuit will be R square plus XC minus XL whole square. And this comes out to be 16.7 ohms. Phi is tan inverse of XC minus XL by R, and this comes out to be 53.1 degrees. And the current will be V by Z, that will be 100 divided by 16.7. It is 5.988 amperes. Now because it is XC is greater than XL, hence the circuit is capacitive, and so the current will be leading the voltage by an angle of 53.1 degrees. Now the second part, when the frequency is 50 hertz, R will remain the same, that is R is equal to 10 ohms, XL 2 pi FL, substitute F is equal to 50 and find it out XL, that comes out to be 15.7 ohms, and XC for at 50 hertz will be 10.61 ohms, that is 1 by 2 pi FC. Now if you see over here, XL is greater than XC, this means the circuit will be inductive in nature, and the final impedance can be calculated as, because XL is greater, so it will be under root of R square plus XL minus XC square, and this comes out to be 11.22 ohms, and phi will be tan inverse of XL minus XC by R. This comes out to be as 27.01 degrees, and the current will be V by Z, that is 100 divided by the total impedance 11.22. It comes out to be 8.91, but this is a XL is greater than XC, so the circuit is inductive, so it is lagging by 27.01 degrees. So when the frequency was 25 hertz, the circuit was capacitive in nature, and when the frequency was 50 hertz, the circuit was inductive in nature. When the circuit is capacitive in nature, this means that the current will be leading the voltage by the angle phi. And if the circuit is inductive in nature, that means that the current will be lagging the voltage by the angle phi. Today we have discussed about AC series circuit, that is RL circuit, RC circuit and RLC circuit, and we have seen the voltage phasor, we have seen the impedance triangle and the power triangle, and you can solve any type of numerical using these three combinations for the AC series circuit.